during also really the New Year celebrations. And this is really something very much good, because over time we have seen also really engaging, really having such troubles. But during this period we have not had any. And in Masaka we were able to see the clergy calling for peace in the year 2005, and I hope this is really something very much good for us to bank on, and we must also take it seriously, because if you talk about peace, without peace there's nothing that we shall be achieving as a nation. Just imagine a nation without peace. There's not going to be development, because investors are not going to be attracted. But once there's peace, investors are going to be attracted from all places, and that will be very much good for them to also develop the country. Now in Masaka, the Diocese Vicar General, also the Reverend Dominic Sengoba, has expressed deep concern over Uganda's rising stability, urging the nation to prioritize peace and reconciliation in this year. And speaking during a solemn New Year's Eve vigil mass that is at Chitovu Cathedral in Masaka City, Father Sengoba reflected on the challenges that marked also 2004. And if you look at the year 2004, we had a number of challenges ranging from the Gen Z movements, and we were able to see all that, also having challenges. Now we are also the alarming issues such as the rampant killings, domestic violence, and surge in road accidents, which is described as deeply troubling. And if you look at the year 2004, we had a number of also deaths related to accidents and other instabilities. And now Father Sengoba encouraged Ugandans to embrace reconciliation as one of the key areas for them to also really reflect on. And as a nation, as the year was being welcomed, we did see residents shared also reflections on the past years and their hopes for the future, as well as also really we are described in there. And I hope at the end of the day, that is something which we shall be taking keenly in there. Now, Godfrey Kayemba Fayo appealed for unity and harmony within the communities, and that is something which we did see the residents coming out to also really talk about. Now, another residents, that's Sadat Segai, has stressed the importance of family values, urging men to take responsibility for their families and women to respect their husbands. And all this goes back to the unity we are talking about, because if you do not unite with the families, with your spouses, then that is how it is going to be very, very much difficult. Now, the reflection of massacres resonate with the broader hopes of many Ugandans as they look for 2005 with optimism. And as the bell rang in the new year, that's like Kitovu Cathedral, prayers and hopes for a better Uganda echoed through the congregation, sending a clear message of peace and unity for the year ahead. And that is something which we did see happening this year, and that is really something which at the end of the day we hope is really, really very much also good in there. And this is a year of politics, we cannot deny the fact, but really we are praying for peaceful politicking. We want to see how you will be doing your business in a way that also will not also affect the other party. We want to see how, of course, you as the viewer, or you are who is also eyeing those positions, definitely should be celebrating this with less troubles. And that is something at the end of the day which will be very, very much good for us. Now, police officers on the run after killing Reveler in a patch. And this is another sad story, because as a police officer, we expect you to be the ones taking care of the life of the civilians and property of them as well. But where also you become also the perpetrator, then it becomes a great challenge and something which will be very much difficult for us to also bank on. Now, tragedy also struck during New Year's Eve celebration, that's in Apache District, Uganda, when a police officer opened fire on a group of revelers, killing one and injuring two others. And the incident occurred, that is around 12:30 a.m. That's at the Kungu Ferry Landing Site in Aganga Parish in Ubuje sub-county. That's something which we did see, where according to Superintendent of Police Jimmy Patrick Okema, the North Chioga Regional Police spokesperson, the police officer identified as Police Constable Richard Pius Irokole was on guard duty when a group of about 30 to 40 excited people began throwing stones at houses and police barracks, and that really led to him opening up also really fire in there. Now, really, as somebody who is also really out there, why would you go and attack people who are armed? Why would you go start stoning? If your alcohol leads you to that extent, why can't people move away? This is really something which at the end of the day, where sometimes it becomes very much difficult to side with, that is the civilians. And it's one thing at the end of the day, really I want to also ask for to, this is some issues of attacking people in uniform is really where we have often seen challenges sort of arising from, and we hope at the right time these issues won't be there anymore. Now the officer allegedly also fired also warning shots that's in the air to calm the crowd, but stray bullets solely hit 3 people, killing 1 and injuring 2 others. And this is really something which I believe could have also resulted after this persisted. And really once people under influence, sometimes it becomes very, very much difficult. Now the deceased has been identified as Jessica Kabobesa, a 30-year-old who was killed on spot, while the 2 other injured are Miss Doris, a 28-year-old, and Maxwell Obok, a 23, who were rushed, that is, to Apache General Hospital for medical attention. Now the police have launched investigation into the matter, and the case of murder by shooting and attempted murder has already been registered against the police officer who also opened the fire in them. Now the alleged gun has been recovered and exhibited, and the deceased body was conveyed to Apache Hospital's mortuary pending post-mortem examination. And the Uganda Police Force has also pledged to conduct a thorough investigation into the incident to determine the facts and ensure that justice is served. And this is something which at the end of the day, where we expect justice for all parties. Why would you really go in at that level and also really raise such concerns? And that is something which at the end of the day will be very, very much good for us to solely improve on. Issues of living harmoniously with the men in uniform is something always we should be able to also really take keenly in there, and that is how at the end of the day we shall be seeing the kind of development that we want as a nation. And that is something which we did see. And remember, on the 31st, we had also what we call the presidential address by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who spoke about a number of issues. And really one of the issues that caught people's attention is the issue of police bond, where many people really have been able to express mixed reaction. Now, President Museveni is directed to the police not to grant bond suspects, has also already elicited mixed reactions from legal experts, within also some also terming the move as an outreach of his authority. Now, in his New Year end of 2024 message, and delivered also, President directed police not to free any suspects arrested, and that is really something which the lawyers feel is against the laws. And now legal experts, however, said the president lacks also power to unilaterally also ban police bond, which is provided in the laws of Uganda, and that is something which we did see happening and being the fountain of honor. Many lawyers have been able to talk about this same issue. Now the Police Act said that police bond is provided for in the Criminal Procedure Code Act and the Police Code Act, and lawyers say Mr. Museveni's directive would amount us to amending the law, powers only vested in Parliament, and any person arrested and also really is supposed to be given police bond for so long as the case is one that also can be given bond, and that's something which lawyers have not been able to be happy of. Now, Semakade Isaac, the Uganda Law State President, resists the declaration and maintains adherence to the law, and added that that is also an act of presidential outreach and shall receive stiff resistance from citizens of Uganda and from the bar. Then the outreach is not new, and the bar has fought consistently, capably, also competently, proudly and gallantly, and that is what the Uganda Law Society President Isaac Semakade was able to sort of oppose that move in that way. Now, Mr. George Musisi, a lawyer, said the bond is also the creature of the law, and under our constitutional dispensation, executive powers also really of the president don't also include amending a law unilaterally, and that will tantamount to a decree, and to the end also that the ban will be unconstitutional, and that is where we did see happening. Now, what are the opposition members saying? Mr. Joel Senyonyi, the Honorable, also the leader of opposition in Parliament, said that that's also what happens when a leader remains in power for too long, and that is where he all of a sudden also thinks he can become the law, and just like that, he has been ordering judicial officers to deny suspects bail. And now he's also trying to do the same with police bond. And even more problematic is that, which means even trial takes longer to start, and the target is government. Also critics who are also often arrested for protesting and also then released on police bond. That is where the opposition members feel that is also where the president is also looking forward to also addressing some of those issues and those gaps that have been also with those issues happening in there. Now, Kampala Lord Mayor Erias Gogo said it is also a blatant violation of the existing constitutional orders and the legal also regime governing civil liberties, and that is something where the lawyers haven't been happy about. Also the move of the president directing police officers to deny suspects bail in there, and that is something which we did see happening because police bond is prescribed under the laws, and if you talk about issues of bail in courts, also this is within the laws, and the president has also often talked about this, and now we are seeing the opposition members not being happy. Even the lawyers also have been able to also share mixed reactions on the same issues happening in there, and that is something which at the end of the day is really very much good for us to also bank on. Now if you look at also the year 2024 in focus, you will get to realize it also paints an image of what is also coming up ahead of us in 2025, and this is something where you must now be making plans of what exactly you want to do and how you intend to do these things. But we are able to see a lot of issues. If at all in the year 2024 you didn't do much, this could be your year. All you need to do is draw your plans very, very much well and pray that would also at the end of the day be a turning point to you also the misery. And that's really something where we're saying everybody shouldn't give up. We must not give up if at all we want to achieve what also we want to achieve in there. Now the Katikkiro Charles Peter Mayiga has unveiled also the 5 tips for success in 2025, and you also who is looking forward to maybe achieve some of these issues, you definitely need to know also what exactly to do and how you intend to do this. And now as Ugandans welcome the year 2025 with hope and optimism, Uganda Kingdom Premier, that's Charles Peter Mayiga, shared the 5 also valuable tips for success, and Mayiga's message posted on his X official platform emphasized the importance of prioritizing health, and definitely we always say health is wealth. This is where you must make sure that if at all you're not doing well in terms of health, you must rush to the nearest health facility to be part of the group also that will be able to access medical attention in there. And other than that, you may waste a lot of money in terms of also treating. That would not be very much good. And if you talk about health, definitely we must also ensure that both our physical and mental health is key. Definitely if you're going to be having a lot of stress, you may also run mad, and that's why mental health is very, very much also good for us to also prioritize working on. Now, Mayiga, who has been also at the forefront of poverty alleviation programs in Buganda since his appointment in 2013, also encouraged Ugandans to think of innovative ideas that can generate income, and that is where the Premier's message was clear. With a healthy body and mind, Ugandans also really must focus therefore on implementing issues of dedication and perseverance by being calm and patient. If you have issues, I want to also agree with the Premier, we shouldn't also really have a lot of stress. We must be keen, we must be kind also through also some of these issues, and therefore that would also at the end of the day enable us to have issues of peaceful living, and that's one thing at the end of the day that will be very, very much good. Now, my guys' words of wisdom came on the heels of the successful annual Nkuka concert, which drew thousands of Mengo Palace on December 31st, and Kabaka Mutebi, who officiated the concert, led the congregation in ushering in 2025. But really something that also happened very, very much bad in here is that one of the groups belonging to an artist we alleged, I want to say we alleged to solely disorganized the Nkuka Festival, which is solely in Buganda to usher in the new year. Now the concert was a celebration of Buganda's rich cultural heritage with performances by renowned musicians and cultural troops. So the event was also an opportunity for Ugandans to come together and reflect on the past year while looking forward to the new one. Now religious leaders across the country echoed Mayiga's sentiments, urging their congregations to embrace God and cultivate a spirit of gratitude, and that means you also have to side with what the religious leaders are saying. Now that's something which we did see, and in this summary of 5 points message, we are able to say mind your health. That is of both your physical and mental health. Definitely health. If you're healthy, you are going to be saving a lot of monies because health is wealth. And then secondly, think of an idea that can translate into money, and money also already follows an idea. That definitely you must also have the idea, and definitely that is something which I also want to agree with. Now implement the ideas with also one heart, soul and mind. Definitely if you have the ideas, you must prioritize also really working towards achieving those ideas, and that will be very, very much good. Be calm and patient. definitely that's something also at the end of the day you should be able to solely embark on. Be calm. Just stay who you are, and definitely at the end of the day, you will be achieving what you would also want to achieve. At the end of the day, finally, do not forget the Almighty, who is also there to oversee what you are doing. And that is where at the end of the day, we shall be seeing also you achieving what you want to achieve, because without God, surely there's nothing you will be in position to achieve, and that will be very, very much bad for you to also do. Now, on a side note, on some of the stories we're seeing on the morning part this morning, a man has been arrested for stabbing colleague to death over a woman in Bale. That's another story that we are seeing on a side note here on the morning papers, where there was a brutal fight over a woman who was also left one dead and another in police custody in Mbale City. Now the incident occurred, that is on Monday at Mbale Central Market, where the suspect, also identified as Zadrak Chimwanga, allegedly stabbed his colleague, that is Isma Kawesa, a 19-year-old, to death with a broken bottle. And now, according to the Elgon Regional Police spokesperson, Mr. Rogers Taitika, the suspect was motivated by jealousy and desire to win the woman's love, and that is where we're able to see it resulting into loss of life. But really, this is something which we tend to see a lot during also festive seasons. Why do we witness a lot of issues of gender-based violence, domestic violence, physical violence, assault, murder? All this happens within the festive season, and that's really where, at the end of the day, I want to say, let's embrace those issues of also living peacefully in ourselves. Now, the report also indicates that the suspect attacked the deceased in an enclosed room also at the market, and stabbing him in the stomach and intestines with also a broken beer bottle. Now, the deceased was rushed to Mbale Regional Referral Hospital, where he was pronounced dead a few hours later. Now, the suspect attempted to flee the scene, but was apprehended by the market workers and handed over to police. Now, the deceased friends, Mr. Joseph Gidudu, appealed to the police and judiciary to ensure that justice is served. Now, the incident is a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of domestic violence and infidelity. And according to the annual police crime report of 2023, we're able to see a total of 242 cases of murder resulting from domestic violence, where we're able to see a number of 249 persons were said to be killed, as we are looking forward for Uganda Police to release this year's annual police crime report. Now, the report also shows that a disturbing trend of murder by stabbing, with 215 cases that in 2021, and 221 in 2022, and 257 cases were registered in 2023. And as police investigate the incident, the community is left to pick up the pieces and wonder what could have been done to prevent the tragedy. And that is something which, at the end of the day, I really want to say, we must also embrace peace. If a woman doesn't love you, this goes to the men. Move on. There are still more women who will love you, and this is really where, at the end of the day, we are saying women should avoid issues also really of causing heartbreaks. Imagine, as a lady, people kill each other because of you. How are you going to be even living in society? What are you going to be explaining to the family members in there? And that is one thing which, at the end of the day, we shall be seeing happening. And we hope at the end of the day, that is one thing which also really will be very, very much key for us to solely embark on as we get to move on. And that's one thing which we are seeing. And remember, we are still seeing these cases happening, and activists solely express concern over GBV in Toro Kingdom. And this is another sad story that we are still seeing when we talk about issues of murder, issues of domestic violence happening. Now in Toro, we are seeing activists express concern, where we are now seeing them also where there are rising cases of gender-based violence are said to be in Toro sub-region. Now, Miss Betty Mujungu, the team leader of the Vote FM gender desk, told this newspaper that also out of every 5 women, 3 have experienced gender-based violence in that sub-region, where we are seeing forms such as violence. If you look at issues of violence in families, today we are tending to see a number of these. Now, issues also of sexual violence and rape, also other forms of gender-based violence we are seeing now. Should add that older women are not spared also from the vice of gender-based violence. Now, Mujungu said community communication between couples is key to address issues of gender-based violence. And I really want to agree with this. If you are not often talking to your families, if you are not interacting also really very, very much well in there, that's going to be very much difficult for you to also really go on with peace in your families. And that's really where, at the end of the day, we are going to be having issues of domestic violence, physical violence being very, very much key. But if at all you are seeing issues also really of peaceful living, then at the end of the day, trust me, you are going to be living very, very much well. Now, Ms. Mujungu said communication is key, and I don't want to agree with this. If at all you are also really wanting to avoid yourself from gender-based violence, then definitely you should be avoiding issues of issues of also communication must also really be prioritized. And Ms. Mbabazi also pointed out that some men prevent their wives from working, fearing that also that earning money might also lead to disrespect. Now, Mr. Joseph Mujuni, a resident, expressed concern about the challenges in families dynamics, so noting that many women delegate domestic work to maids and spend much of their time on social media, and this is really something at the end of the day which causes troubles for families. And I really want to implore our sisters who are getting married. Today we tend to see a number of marriage breakdowns simply because people are not also prioritizing their marriages, and that's where we're saying you must therefore solely embrace taking good care of your families. Now we are asking government, also that's why I call in the locals, who urged government to regulate the proliferation of churches while acknowledging everyone's right to worship. And if you look at these issues, some of the churches today are said to be making a lot of noise. And today many people, when they want to buy land, they still ask, do these churches exist in this area? They mention some specific religions, but really I really want to sort of say that this is not every church. It's not with every church, but some specific individuals who open up these churches, most especially within the communities for purposes of getting money. They end up making noise, but really it becomes a challenge, just like what the local is saying here. And we hope at the end of the day, people also really must prioritize this. We have often had interactions with officials from Directorate for Ethics and Integrity and the Office of the President, but nothing much has been done about the issues of regulating some of these worship centers. First of all, through issues of noise, then issues of also exploitation, where people have been also extorted money. They say, bring this and that, we are going to be praying for you, and this person who gives the most is going to be earning a lot of money, and that's really something where at the end of the day, people have often expressed concern of in the churches, in some of the mosques. And this is something which at the end of the day I want to say we must, this is from and Mrs. Sisi Mpudi from Kibiba Trading Center said women have been cohabited for a long time without being formally introduced or married, leaving them also really vulnerable to abuse. And this is another issue where people feel it could be causing domestic violence. People have been cohabiting. Cohabiting means that you are living with this man in the same house. You are living with this woman in the same house. You are producing children, but you're not married. But in most cases here, people think being together is marriage. No, you are cohabiting. Definitely, you must formalize the marriages by doing introductions, by doing real marriages, and real weddings on the cars. That's how at the end of the day we shall be saying you are married. But anything other than that, you are cohabiting, and definitely you have to also do something very, very much serious in terms of also addressing some of the issues of gender-based violence, or most especially domestic violence, because many people feel some of the families are breaking down simply because the men did not pay dowry, and a man who has not paid dowry has nothing to lose. There's no way this person is going to be fearing to lose you, and at the end of the day, it is really something very, very much challenging. Now, Ms. Rachel Kabasita, a lawyer from Legal Aid, said there is no law in Uganda preventing individuals above 18 years of age from working, because many times also some of the men have been barring their wives from working simply because they think if at all they allow these men, their women to go on with work, they are likely to solely be introduced to other men. But sometimes this is actually worsened by the ladies. We have had stories of men who are allowed to work, not being told, but I've seen this happening. I've seen it happening many times, most especially with the young ladies. They end up being attracted to other men. So that is also where it becomes a challenge, where some men now feel their women shouldn't work. It is now upon them to work, because at the end of the day in our cultures, it is supposed to be the man who is supposed to be the family head. It's the man who is supposed to provide. But I really want to say that the world has changed. Today, as a man, you are not going to be having a woman who is going to be entirely depending on you. You are not going to be depending on that, because things have changed. Things have hardened in case where the man does not have. It is the woman who is supposed to provide. And this is really where at the end of the day I want to encourage men to allow their women work. Issues of also things that your women are going to be engaging in bad practices. shouldn't be there, and that is where at the end of the day we shall be living also in a peaceful way in there. Now Ms. Kabasita added that legal marriage also is a requirement for everyone. Without formal introduction, a wedding or a marriage certificate, you remain unrecognized by the law. And we have seen some cases rising where in Chagego district, which is in Toro sub-region, between August and September, several people lost their lives in a wave of shocking murders, and several people also died, including 3 couples in a month in separate incidents, where 3 cases solely involved men killing their wives before taking their own lives. Now, murders solely took place across Kasule sub-county, in Bugongo Town Council and Ruyosa sub-county, and in the annual 2023 police crime report, Rwenzori West registered 10 cases of murder by domestic violence, and that's something which we did see, and we want to say these issues must also not be able to be implemented this year. This year should be a year of change. We should also encourage ourselves. It must be within me. I want to say that this year I want to formally introduce my wife. I want to formally introduce this man to our family. This is the way to go. But in case you are still living with this woman in the same house, you are producing children, think that you are married, telling people that I'm married. You're not married because the law has not yet recognized you, and that's where at the end of the day we are still going to be seeing you as somebody who is not married. And I really hope at the end of the day we shall be seeing also this also happening. And that's one thing which we must also improve on, issues of domestic violence. This year we want to ensure that the numbers reduce, because last year we had also some cases of people killing their wives. I remember one of the sad stories that we were able to see last year was a man killing his wife because the wife could not account for 50,000 she came up with. And it ended up leading to bloodshed. And that's something which at the end of the day we must condemn this year, and therefore we must also be together with our families. And that's something we did see. And we hope at the end of the day, this year will actually be the one that is fruitful to everyone. We must ensure that this year should be a year of change in our lives, in our also their families, and we must ensure that peace prevails at all times for us to achieve whatever we want to achieve. And that's where we also going to be pausing with the discussions, and I hope at the end of the day we shall be also really undertaking some of these issues very, very much keenly in there. In case you're just joining us right now, into the second day of the month of January 2025. You're most welcome from wherever you are watching us from. I want to say thank you so much. And also I want to say we are proud as Western Television to start up the new year with you, because definitely without you, definitely there's nothing also really we shall be also doing. And that's one thing also at the end of the day as the viewer, we are always proud of you to also be part of the discussions right from 7 o'clock up to 9 o'clock each and every Mondays to Fridays. It being a Thursday, we are going to be taking a short commercial break. When we get back, the discussions will be able to follow, where later on I will be telling you what's happening in the world of sports. But for now, we are taking this short commercial breather. Stay tuned.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Unwrap your holiday cheers with StarTimes this Christmas season. Starting the 15th of November, simply pay your monthly subscription for the next bouquet and automatically enjoy content on the next higher bouquet, plus a chance to win exciting prizes. Your gift box contains variety of local entertainment and fresh shows, exciting cartoon and fun kids entertainment, mega superstars, local and international, a memorable trip to Spain to watch a La Liga match. And that's not all. Lots of prizes to be won, including ZTE Nubia smartphones with free 15 GB Airtel data. StarTimes gift that keeps on giving. Merry Christmas. This message is powered by ZTE Nubia. Better for all.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right. This year, in the 31st of last year, we were able to see the president making an address, and where he was able to eulogize the Slade Budoka Deputy Resident District Commissioner, and was able to contribute 20 million Uganda shillings for burial. And really, this is something which we see happening. And if you talk about issues of accidents, accidents still remain a great concern for us in this country. But how shall we be able to make 2005 a year of change? Last year, we had a number of accident cases registered, most especially the ones that are road related, and this year we are really saying that we want to ensure, we want to pray that the numbers of these accidents should be able to reduce. Now, Prime Minister also has sent a heartfelt condolence message to the family of Budaka Deputy Resident District Commissioner, that is Nusra Nabukalu, who tragically also passed away in a road crash on Sunday after the Iganga Highway road crash. And that's something which we did see now in his also message delivered by Minister for Presidents, Millie Babalanda. We're able to see Prime Minister describe Nabukalu as a very influential and a dedicated person in the NRM party. And that's something which we did see the President also emphasizing the importance of leaders in solving societal problems, saying that also leaders are like doctors, also like social doctors, because they are expected to find what we call effective cures to challenges of the society. And that's something we did see the President solely addressing and also describing the late Nabukalu, who died in the road crash also in there. But really, if we talk about issues of accidents, still they remain a great concern. Not sparing you who is also a pedestrian, not sparing you who is a leader. Accidents also happen to everyone. And that means we should also be able to draw means in terms of reducing the number of accidents. Last year, we had a number of accidents happening where we lost very many people. But this time around, how do we ensure that cases of accidents in this country reduce? And the President was able to also praise Nabukalu for our contributions also towards Uganda's economic transformation, saying we are not only mourning her, but also celebrating her achievements and services to the people of Uganda. And now the President contributed 20 million towards Nabukalu's burial arrangements, which took place at Jinja Muslim Cemetery on Monday. And Nabukalu is survived by also the 4 children and was also one of the chairperson of Busoga Women Leaders Association. And the Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Shaban Ramadan Mubaje, remembered Nabukalu as a very faithful person who loved Islam, and that her legacy also will always be remembered by the Muslim community. Now, Nabukalu's driver, Waiswa Khalid, who was also initially pronounced dead, is also still alive and undergoing treatment at St. James Orthopedic Center in Jinja City. And Major Martha Asimwe, the in charge of the RDC's desk, has instructed the office of the Jinja Resident City Commissioner to forward also the driver's medical bill to the President's office upon recovery. And that is something which we did see happening. And we hope at the end of the day, issues of also accidents should not happen in this year, and our prayers should be that we should not be part of the group that also will be involved in accidents, because accidents remain a great concern, most especially for those of us who are in this region. And that's something which we shall be seeing happening, and we hope at the right time we shall be also achieving whatever we would also want to achieve in there. Now that's something we are going to be also posing the discussions with as we get to move on also another side story. We are seeing details also emerge on teacher who harmed himself, and that's something which we are seeing on the morning papers. Why will the teacher kill himself? Now a teacher who committed suicide by hanging also had a land wrangle with his relatives. Close friend also come out to say that now the late Emmanuel Turiabwaba had a big also plan, but also confided in me, and that's one of the relatives who got grabbed part of his land and was also giving him sleepless nights. That is according to Vincent also the Kemugisha, the deceased neighbor, with whom they shared also the rentals, and that's something which we did see in relation to a teacher who also was said to have hanged himself in there. But issues of distress, you must always have people whom you confide in. If you don't have people you confide in, definitely it is going to be very much hard for you to open up. Yet in stress, in cases also in scenarios where you're stressed, it's always advisable for you to also come out and be open. Talk to people who are around you. Let them understand how you feel. That is how at the end of the day you will be in position to let go of your stress. But if that's not the case, we are likely to witness cases of people killing each other, people also killing themselves. That will be very, very much bad. And today, issues of land wrangles remain the greatest contributor to challenges also happening in our society. Many people also today are not also really greeting each other, most especially in families, where family members, where brothers and sisters cannot talk, just because of issues of land. How do we avoid these issues? It's really very, very much important for us to solely be able to solely engage in as we are also moving into the year 2025. As 2025 has started, let's embrace issues of peaceful living. Let's avoid tendencies of also having what we call big heart, wanting to grab the lands of your family members, of your relatives. Leaving them vulnerable is really something this year we should also put aside, and we must also condemn it in the strongest terms in here. And now that's something also which we did see a teacher who was said to have hanged himself, and now details also emerge that he was also involved in a land wrangle with family members. And report also complained that the management of the school where he was employed delayed to pay his salary. However, the school administrators also dismissed the claim, and that's something which we did see happening. But really, if the salary is delayed, is it enough for you to kill your life, yourself? It's something also where we must also be able to also understand that the world, things are not doing well. All sectors are not doing well. That means if at all you have not maybe gotten paid, or the salaries are delayed, there's no way you should kill yourself. There's no reason for you to sort of go on and pick the rope, hang yourself, or take anything. That is really something very, very much bad, and we condemn that. And the approach which the teacher took is really very, very much wrong. And we hope at the end of the day that shouldn't solely be the strategy. That shouldn't be the way forward for many people out there who may be going through a lot of stress. But all in all, we are saying life must go on, whether with money or without money. Regardless of the situation, life must go on. The station or the saying, it is what it is, should always be the case, and that's something at the end of the day we shall be also seeing many of our lives living peaceful, because this year may be the year of change. Last year things may not have worked on your side, but this year surely it's a new year. Things may work out on your side, and that's really something where we must always have hope on. And the approach the teacher took is really very much wrong, and we condemn it in the strongest terms in there. And that is really something at the end of the day where residents of Mugarama 2 village, that's in Katema Parish in Rukiri sub-county in Ibana district, also really happened in there, and that's something which we did see happening in there. Now, Mr. James Arinda, a teacher, the school also described Turea Mureba as a peaceful friend and friendly person who was also really jolly, and this is how they have described the late as. Now, he made also that the added that the deceased was planning to expand the dairy farming project in the village. Also, now the deceased is said to have also paid the courtesy call to Miss Fiona Turea Mureba, his mother, on December 23rd, and they discussed the plans. Now, Turea Mureba was laid to rest on December 24th at his ancestral home in Rukiri sub-county. What could have stressed this man is really what remains unknown. Is it the issue of land? Is it money? Or it could have been the issues of women? Because these are issues where we see many people, in most cases, killing themselves, but we are saying we should be able to solely deviate from that. And that is really something at the end of the day, it will be very, very much good for us to solely be able to embark on. And we hope at the end of the day, it's really very, very much key for us to solely embark on as we get to move on. And that's something which at the end of the day is very much key and very much good for us to solely be able to embark on. And we hope at the right time, people solely will be able to solely change on that. And that's something which we did see happening. And we hope at the end of the day, that is where we shall be seeing that happening. And we hope at the right time, we shall be seeing a lot of changes happening. And this year will actually be another blessed year for you. And that's really something which I want to sort of give as a humble piece of advice to whoever may not be going through the best in their life. Now, power tariffs lower as government authority takes over umeme operations is another story that gives us hope, most especially for those people who are within the areas supplied by the national grid also. And this is something where we are now seeing government yesterday announced that the electricity costs in Uganda will decrease further after it officially took over the power distribution and sales operations that also had been privatized nearly 20 years ago. Remember, the issues of selling power, most especially in the central and eastern part of this country, have been under Umeme. Now the Uganda Electricity Distribution Company has received 2 licenses, including those also for distribution and sales from the Electricity Regulatory Authority, marking the end of Umeme's 20-year stay in Uganda. Now, at the ceremony also that also held at the state-owned Uganda Media Center in Kampala, Energy Minister Ruth Nankabirwa also assured the public that the cost of electricity would continue to decline. And if you look at the issues also of electricity in some areas, most especially in Kampala, electricity has actually been too much expensive, where a unit is said to have also been costing about 1,000 plus. But this is something which at the end of the day now it's also going becoming as a form of hope, most especially for those people who also are supplied by that Umeme, who had been also supplied by Umeme, but this time round the sales also will be going under a new board. Now, for example, between October and December 2023, the cost of a unit for domestic consumers was shillings 805, which also that is shillings 796 in the same period. And similar, the cost for commercial consumers decreased from 611 to 599, and this is where we shall be seeing more of this. And really in Western sub-region, which is already supplied also by Wenreko, we hope at the end of the day something can be done in terms of lowering the cost of electricity, because many times people have been also complaining about issues of the power cost, but we hope at the end of the day government also will be able to do something in terms of reducing the cost or normalizing the cost also of units in there. And that's where we shall be also praying that electricity should be very, very much available. Now the Auditor General is currently assessing Women's Limited Limited's investment to determine the bailout amount. Also initially, also the cost is estimated to go up to shillings 921 billion, but this was also later reduced to shillings 849 billion by January last year. Now Ms. Nankabirwa further stated that we are waiting for the Auditor General's report to carry out the assessment and inform us of also what's happening in there. And now as the transition also from Umeme to UEDCL takes shape, Ms. Nankabirwa acknowledged the inevitable challenges associated also with also such a change. Now she assured the public that the government also will intervene to address these issues promptly, and that is where many people now will want to solely see more of the changes. That means for you who is solely planning to have connections to electricity, definitely we are now seeing it may be at a reduced cost. That's something which we are also seeing happening, and we hope at the end of the day you will be also part of the group that will be living peacefully also in there. And that's something which we are seeing happening, and we hope at the end of the day we shall be seeing also a lot of changes happening. Now, if you look at issues of 2005, this is actually a year that is very, very much pivotal in shaping the country's next leaders. If you look at issues of politics, now we are seeing it very much vivid. Everywhere we are seeing signs and symptoms of politics, but we are saying this is not only within Western sub-region, but the entire country. But we are saying, why don't we do politics also really in a peaceful way? That is the way to go for us to really make sure that we live peacefully with our families, with our relatives, without finding troubles. And now we are seeing politics happening where we are able to see people now siding. Right now we are seeing also people siding, where leaders are siding with fellow leaders, where we are seeing some groups working in caucuses. I am team this and that. This is also something where we are now seeing State Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development coming out also to say that she will be also supporting, that is former Speaker Right Honorable, that's Alito Kadaga, Honorable, who also already has been also the Speaker of Parliament. Now we are seeing the Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, that's Persis Namuganza, has made a surprise move by endorsing First Deputy Prime Minister Rebecca Kadaga's bid for second deputy female, also NRM Central Executive Committee chairperson, and also position also in the upcoming also NRM structure polls. Now Namuganza and Kadaga have history of rivalry, but having also contested for the same position in 2020 NRM structure elections, the contest also marked also by bitter exchanges between the two, which many also really believed had cost the party dearly in the general election, and something now we are seeing is going to be history and will not also be in position to go on now. However, the recent interview also Namuganza revealed that she had also decided not to run also for the position again, citing the need also for unity within the party, where she will now be offering her support, that is for Kadaga. Namuganza also has instead also thrown out her weight behind Kadaga, citing her seniority and ability to serve better. Now that's something which also really will be exciting people within the NRM party. Now Namuganza also has urged all NRM delegates, especially from Busoga sub-region, to rally behind Kadaga, calling upon also all of them to support Ms. Kadaga, and that's something which we did see, because if you look at issues also really of seniority and issues also of good leadership, definitely you will get to realize that Kadaga has also already been able to sort of exhibit that. Now, without mentioning names, Namuganza appealed to NRM cadres to reject any new contestants, emphasizing that Kadaga's election should be continuous until she also really chooses to retire, and that's something where we didn't see. Now, Namuganza endorsements comes as Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Anita Among, who also announced intention to also contest for the same position. However, Namuganza's backing of Kadaga is seen as a significant boost to her campaign, and former Minister for Lands, Daudi Migereko, who also oversaw the digitization also of the party registrar in Busoga sub-region, believes that the registered party members can significantly contribute to President Museveni's also really vote tally, and that's something which we are seeing happening in that area when it comes to issues of politics, because right now we are seeing also a number of issues happening within politics, but we hope at the end of the day it will be peaceful politics. Now Migereko also downplayed claims that the party members are often forgotten after also elections, saying that rewarding is gradual process and that President keeps in his mind. And Mr. Isa Taligola, a member of research and policy at the NRM Secretariat, emphasized that party also elections should not be divide members, but rather identify strong candidates for the final polls, and that's something which we are seeing happening. And we hope at the end of the day, people will be able to solely achieve whatever they want to solely achieve in there when it comes to issue of politics. But we must ensure that we do peaceful politicking, so that also we not also lose our lives or our property. And that's something which we are seeing happening. But summarize our with definitely a lot of issues have been happening. But before that, let's see what's happening also really in also the parts of the world. And that's where we're able to see Biden saying that the audience also attacker had also desire to kill, as also death toll rise to 15. And that's something which we are seeing happening also really in the US. And if you look at issues also happening in that area, many of times issues of people killing each other is also said to be overwhelming, but that's something also where we did that happening in Bourbon Street, which is also well-known also nightlife, and also there is a hotspot that also filed also with restaurants, bars, and clubs also with live music. Also something happened in there where at least 15 people we are said to have been killed, but we are saying this also is something we also want to see change this year, as we want to also see a number of challenges also happening to our country, and that's something where we would also want to see a lot of changes happening. But that is where we must pray for, to make sure that some of these issues, some of these initiatives, and some of these strategies will change in this year. And that brings us to the end. But before that, we also have to look at what's happening in the world of sports. And if you look at what's happening in the world of sports, on the 5th, that's when we shall be seeing our leagues returning, most especially the 4 big league, where we shall be seeing a game between Buhimba and Karo Karunji, as Busoga United will be up in action against the Royal Sports Club. And we shall be seeing Gaddafi taking on Boma, as Maida will be hosting also Kataka, and Ntunga Saze will be taking on Blacks Power, and Onupeka Football Club on the same day will be up in action against Chinda Boys, as Paida Black Angels, another West Nile side, will be hosting Chigezi Homeboys, and that is where we shall be seeing the games returning. And if you look at the standings, as a reminder, this morning we are still seeing Gaddafi taking on the lead with also a total of 23 points, as Blacks Power comes in the second position with still 23 points, but the difference also comes in goal differences. And Ondupuka Football Club comfortably are sitting in the third place. Still a good position for them with 19 points. And Buhimba are in the fourth place with 19 points, as Midigo Calvary sit in the fifth place with 18 points. Meanwhile, in the last last four teams, we have Mtunga Stars with 12 points. We have Arrow Hill with 10. Busoga is sitting there with 8 points, as Maida is the last team also really with only 5 points out of the games that they played. And that's really how the league is also really getting very, very much interesting in there. And we hope at the end of the day, at least, we want to see a team from West Nile sub-region also representing once again in the top tier of Ugandan league in there. That's the Southern Uganda Premier League. But this time round, we are still hoping forward to also really seeing any of our teams will making it to the top tier of that Ugandan league in there. Now, today we shall be seeing a game, at least 3 games that's also on card. That's for the Southern Uganda Premier League, where Maroons will be up in action against Mbali Heroes, as Police will be taking on KCA, another interesting game, as well as Express Football Club will be taking on Soltilo Bright Stars, and that's how we shall be seeing also really the Southern Uganda Premier League also returning. And if you look at the standings, right now Vipers is on top of the league, where NEC is following, and third position is KCA. In the fourth is URA. Meanwhile, in the fifth position is Maroons. Meanwhile, in the last 3, we have Bakisho Giants, we have Mbali Heroes, and Bright Stars is the last team on the log in there. That's for the Southern Uganda Premier League. And that's how we are seeing the stable standings looking like. And that means also really the league is just getting more better and interesting. And yesterday we had a number of games that is also really period of football. Definitely we had also a number of games happening right from Tuesday, where we had also other leagues playing. But yesterday we had one game that's also really in the English Premier League. That was between Brentford and Arsenal Football Club. And Brentford took the lead, but Arsenal were able to sort of bounce back by winning the game by 3-0 right at the home of Brentford. And that's something which we did see happening in there. And definitely a lot is going to be happening. And we shall be seeing also really more of these details is in the world of sports. Returning through, that's on the whistle time with Owen Ezaga and Linda Suzy from the hour of 2 to 3 p.m., where they will be giving out comprehensive and detailed analysis of what is making it in the world of sports. But from me to you, I want to really wish you a very good day and a good new year as well, because we are just starting, and I really want to say happy 2025. Let it be a year of success. Let it be a year of good health. Let it be a year of wealth as well to you, the viewer of West Nile Television. With that, we come to the end. Up next are other interesting programs which will be following from this time. And I really want to say have a good morning and a good day, not forgetting a good year as well. My name is Soresh Majid. I'm out until tomorrow for the final edition of the KOKOLIRIKO live show for this week. Have